Hey, a good title for this. It's not going to explain anything, but the best title for this epic video production should have a lion roaring, "Roar!" like MGM. Would be what's next. And by what's next, I mean I have 3 sinew back bows. They're far from ready to be flexed in any form of tillering. So I'm not going to be doing any sinew wraps in these areas because I might have to sand the handle section a little bit. And there's nothing worse than repeating your sinew wrapping, removing it, and then redoing it again. But even though this one still has white stuff, it's dry on the tips. So guess what I'm going to be working on today? By the end of today, I will have done other things, but one of the major things will be wrapping the tips. Now I'm going to take this one for example. A very authentic style of tip would be the sinew ending right here, and then bare wood in the sinew wrap, and maybe removing a little wood from the side to create a form of pin knock. That would be pretty accurate, and then you just slide the string over it and then work it up. But even though this is narrow, for user friendliness, and I'm not saying it's authentic, I will have 1 string groove on one end and 2 on the other, so the use of a loop string to make stringing and unstringing easier will be possible. And the tips are perfectly dry enough to do a little bit of sanding work, smooth it in preparation for wrapping the tips, which I will do when I get back in the house. And so, if I was just going to have a sinew wrap and this would all be bare wood up here, I wouldn't need to smooth the stuff out. It wouldn't be there. But I'm going to have a sinew wrap all the way up. Let it dry down, and then make the string grooves in it. Now I'm going to be filing through the sinew wrap that I put on. So I need to get a really good bond. So I'm going to dunk the tip into my hide glue pot to size it. And then I'm going to wrap the tip. But to 100% guarantee, as Justin the Cajun chef would say, I want that sinew to be bonded to the almost dried sinew to the nth degree, so when I'm putting my string grooves in here, it doesn't fray and peel up around. I'm going to take plastic, strips of garbage bag or grocery bag or whatever, and wrap it around there to retard the drying. And it will be wrapped with sinew that comes out of a weaker hide glue solution, so it's gonna take a long time to dry, which will reinvigorate the backing glue, which will, it doesn't literally melt that wrap into the sinew backing, but that's a good term. It basically does, and I have good luck when I grind my string grooves in there. I don't have the problem of the sinew wrapping unwrapping. It's on there solid because I allowed it to dry really slowly. And how long do I leave that garbage bag on, or that strip of plastic, whatever the sorcery of that is? I don't know. Maybe I'll take it off this evening. Who cares? A couple hours usually works nicely. And the cool thing is, when you wrap it with that plastic wrap and you take it off, that sinew wrap is perfect. It is so smooth. There are no little, I'm feeling little undulations here. There's no undulations, just as smooth, which from a visual standpoint looks pretty cool. But from a useful standpoint, when you're dragging a loop over it, it really helps. It's just slick. It's slick. And so the tools that I will be using, sanding blocks. I have a variety here. I've got 220, which is nice. I have more 220. 220 is good. I have 60 if I really have to grind on it, and 120, which, let's experiment first with the 120 on the very end. I'm only going to do one bow here, one tip actually. This one is close at hand. I want to smooth that tip out because I have sinew going over it, and I want to make it super nice. which is challenging in this light. I don't want to grind it all the way off. I just want it to be smooth. And on the bottom, because I wasn't looking at that when I was sinew backing it, it's more or less straight, but I'm going to flatten that out without removing it. You get a little bit of grace when you wrap, but to be honest, I was planning on just having like pinnock affairs, so I didn't fully shape the tips, but fortunately they're not bad. Boy, that's encouraging, isn't it? They're not bad. What does that mean exactly? They're perfectly allowable, and if I didn't tell you that, you would have never thought it. But like, I'm kind of compulsive. Kind of smooth that out. Oh boy, that's beautiful. What else do I do at that tip end? Now I'm checking it for smoothness. I'm not going to use this wooden block. I'm going to use this rubbery sanding block so it kind of fits contours. I'm just going to kind of go through there. Kind of smooth it down. And I get that some people don't like to sand their sinew because they appreciate, as I do, the texture. But I also like smooth. That one's done. At this point, too, the edges are dry. I could certainly, as I'm telling myself, stop, stop, but I can't stop. It's an operation I've done a few times in the past. Not gonna hurt me eye. Got a little glob there, but whatever. Oh boy, I love my gauze. In 120, and I'm not really reefing on it. I'm not breaking through fibers. I'm just giving it kind of a smoothish appearance. This 120 has been used quite a bit, so it's not really doing a whole lot, but it's doing enough. Going by feel. And I know there's some people that are like, ugh, fingernails on a chalkboard watching me sand a sinew back. But we all do our own thing, right? Heck, I might as well do that other tip. I'm checking for evenness. Oh, gosh, that's nice. That's awesome. Let's do the other tip, and then one bow will be complete and ready for tip wrapping. This is fun. I love it at this point. Oh my goodness. I know. I said I was going to just go on to self bows, but oh my gosh. I love me some sinew back bows. And I love these horse bows. And with the 2 string grooves, and these things are, they're over 50 inches. Well within the realm of accurate lengths. They're going to be very user-friendly. These will be user-friendly bows. 50, 51 inches. It's a nice length for a bow. And actually, they're going to be less stacky because they've got the little kick in the tips. The string angle is going to be less at the same draw as if they were just galling. Although I love me some galling bows too. They're all individuals. And I can actually, if I have to, in better light, sand that tip there. There. Oh, buddy. Man. Using my digits to... There, one bow, I'm going to put that right up there. See, it doesn't take... Oh, man. These things are just so nice. Okay, on to these. This is my old one. I'm going to bother you with sound, and... That's the old Ryobi. I can't say anything bad about this thing. It's not the best, but it worked for years. When did I buy this thing? Maybe 8 years ago. Not variable speed. The brushes are fried. Maybe I can take it apart. Maybe I can get new brushes, so I've got 2 of these things. It doesn't always turn on. It doesn't always turn on now. And sometimes it has 0 power, but the brushes are fried. I can tell that. Some things I don't like about this. I had to take this thing apart and do sanding on the plastic switch components because it would cut off. It would be running and then the switch was whacked. So I had to sand the sear down. And then this thing pops off. It's just... And it's 2.6 amps, so it's not the most powerful in the woods. Now here, remember the sound. Oh, and the switch itself. I always think it would be nice to have it flat because I set it down, it's still spinning, and it always falls over. The switches on this thing are on the sides. And if it falls over on the switch, it'll start and then go skittering around the ground and tear up the edge of the sanding desk. The DeWalt. It just sounds like a higher quality machine. Plus it's got variable speed. This thing is not going to come off. You have to unlock it. And yeah, I know that there's paper filter canisters that some of these come with that are better. These things are kind of pollutant, but you know, I use it outside and the switch is on the front, so no way if I set it down there and it falls over, it's going to turn on. And the switch is when you want it. It doesn't sound good. And this probably has a plastic fan. That's got a heavy metal fan. And so, yeah, I could have probably just replaced the brushes in that Ryobi, but I'll replace them and have a second one. I loves me some DeWalt orbital disc sander. This thing is... That'll lull you to sleep. Plus it's 3 amp and more powerful to remove wood faster. And so, or slower if you slow it down. So, my friends, got 2 more bows to prepare. Got to drag my baggie of glue and sinew out of the refrigerator. Drag my double boiler with the remaining hide glue out of the refrigerator and heat it up and get all set to do some tip wraps. And after it dries enough, I shall put the string grooves in it. I shall final tiller it, and I think these are tillered right off the bat. Maybe I'll have to remove some white, I don't know. Then I'll do the center and the middle of wraps. Life is good. And then Mr. Hickory. Now find a couple other hickory staves, which will be time to start on my hickory horse bows. Beautiful, beautiful.